In the land of entry-level Audis, you have the A3. You have the Q3 too, but we're talking sedans today. The A3 is a great starting point that lives under $40,000, but for just a little bit more, you can get the new S3 for maybe $10,000 more and up. Is it worth the price difference? Let's explore both and see which one makes sense for you. Around town, their differences will be minimized. You're dawdling through traffic, you have your radio playing, a podcast, something. The seats are gonna both be comfortable. So the differences there will be minimal. It's on a road like this where you realize where all that extra money comes into play. Let's talk numbers first. Both the A3 and S3 get upgrades for the 2025 model year. On the A3, this means the car is now Quattro only. The interior is a bit nicer, and the exterior lighting, both front and rear, gets a design tweak. On the S3, the chassis upgrades borrow from the far more sporting RS3. I'll get more specific on that in a moment, but the real numbers that separate A and S3 come down to the power under the hood. Both cars feature a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. The A3 makes 201 horsepower, 236 pound-feet of torque, and will run from 0 to 60 in a totally respectable 6 seconds flat. The S3, however, jumps up to 328 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, and that 0 to 60 time drops way down to 4.4. Both cars employ a 7-speed DSG, but the tuning and final gear ratio of the RS3 is more aggressive, as you'd expect. In fact, Audi says the S3 gearbox has 50% quicker shifts when under full load as compared to the outgoing version of the car. The real big game changer, however, when you go from A to S3 is the introduction of a part borrowed from the RS3. It's a rear torque splitter and it transforms this updated S3. That's because it can send 100% of the available rear torque to either side. This allows the car to behave in a far more entertaining and nimble manner as the outside wheel can be overdriven when needed. But it's also useful for poor weather as well, as the torque splitter can function in a manner that brings the car back in line if it senses unwanted slip. Still, both the A3 and S3 look great. Audi's done a good job of updating the exterior style and the interior level of tech, luxury, and comfort delivered at their respective price points. The A3 starts at $39,495 for the base premium trim. The S3 starts just over $10,000 higher with a starting price of $49,995. Is it worth the extra coin? That depends on how you're going to use the car. The inclusion of the RS3's rear torque splitter, that's the game changer for the new S3, in that it makes it much more dynamic, much more nimble, tossable, and closer to its larger sibling than its younger sibling. The chassis tuning here is great. The chassis tuning on the A3 will be fine, but without that torque splitter and without that the extra horsepower, even though it's the same 2-liter 4-cylinder, this is a road like this is where the difference will be stark. Now, if you don't drive on roads like this that often or ever, do you need the S3 versus the A3? Well, maybe style-wise you can justify the cost, but at that point, if it's just a daily commuter vehicle, you might be better off saving your money. But if you occasionally do hit roads like this, then the S3 makes sense. And if you only hit roads like this, talk to your dealer about the RS3. As an A to B commuter and daily machine, the A3 will deliver plenty, especially for right around 40 grand. But if you enjoy driving enthusiastically at all, then the S3 is a different animal. That torque splitter out back transforms the car, and the added power makes a huge difference between the A3 and S3. Both are nice, but the S3 will make you smile every time the road gets twisty. So there you have it. The A3 is very similar to the S3, but now the S3 has some goodies from the RS3, which really confuses the things. S3 is an amazing enthusiast choice. A3 is a fine daily driver, but if you want to learn more about the RS3, go check out our sister site, Kelley Blue Book, and their video that dissects this whole thing even further.